Alright, let's do exercise 8-6. This is kind of a game, right? Puzzle, right? Where they give us this information and we just figure out what the X's are, right? Or the question marks. Revenues minus returns gives us net sales, right? Sales revenues minus sales returns and allowances gives us net sales. So that minus that gives us that. Sales. Alright, so we have our sales here. Beginning inventory, so this is kind of separate. Beginning inventory plus purchases, right, and net purchases, right? So we'll take the purchases and we'll adjust for the purchase returns and allowances. So beginning inventory plus purchases minus ending inventory gives us cost of goods sold, okay? So then we take the net sales minus the cost of goods sold and we get to the gross profit. So that's the formulas that we're working with. Okay, so this is the two formulas I just mentioned. Sales minus cost of goods sold equals gross profit. Beginning inventory plus purchase minus ending inventory equals cost of goods sold. Of course, you can move these around algebraically, right? We can move this over here, and we can, as long as we keep everything equal across the equal sign, we're good. So we're going to be using that, so just keep that in mind. So let's start with the easy one, right? Net sales has to be sales minus sales returns and allowances. So 290 minus 11,000 equals 279. So we have 279 here for net sales. Next thing we'll do is we'll figure out ending inventory for 2014 or for 2013 from 2014. So the ending inventory is the beginning inventory, right? So we don't know the ending inventory for 2013, but they give us a beginning inventory for 2014. Well, beginning inventory for 2014 is the ending inventory, right, for 2013. What we end with in 2013 becomes what we start with in 2014. What we end with in 2014 becomes what we start with in 2015. So we can figure it out like that, right? So this little puzzle we're doing here, that means that this is 32,000 because of that. So now we know enough to get the purchases. We're going to take beginning inventory plus the purchases minus the ending inventory, cost of goods sold. We can manipulate that to be purchases equals cost of goods sold minus ending inventory plus ending inventory. It's the same formula, I just manipulated the numbers algebraically. So cost of goods sold equals 233 minus purchases, which we have, minus beginning inventory, which we have 20,000, plus ending inventory, which was 32, and we get to 245,000. Okay, so that is our purchases, except for one thing. We have to adjust that, right, because we have purchase returns and freight in. So we take the 245 minus the freight plus the returns, because we're going backwards, right? That's why we're doing it. Instead of adding the freight and subtracting the returns, we're trying to back into the beginning number. So the beginning number has to be 242, right? So if it was 242 and you subtract this and you add that, you would have got 245, which we know it needs to be 245. So the number that we put here would be the 242, because that will work for us. Now let's go over here and get started with 2014. 304. Okay, we're going to start with sales because that's an easy one. The net sales is here, so this minus this equals 347. So if we add these two, 347 plus 13, we get 360 for the sales. Okay, so we got that number real easy. Okay, then we'll do cost of goods sold. Alright, so we're going to figure out the cost of goods sold. To do cost of goods sold, we take the sales minus the gross profit equals cost of goods sold, right? Because if we take sales minus cost of goods sold, we get gross profit. We can use that formula. We can switch these over, and algebraically we can just do sales minus cost of goods minus gross profit and give us the cost of goods sold. So we know the cost of goods sold. So now we have to do, and watch out for the signs, right? Meaning positive or negative. when you're doing your homework. Alright, so let's get the final one, ending inventory, right? We need to get this ending inventory. So we're going to use beginning inventory plus purchases minus ending inventory equals cost of goods sold. The same one we used before, but we're going to have to move stuff around because we want to get ending inventory. So we'll take 32,000 as our ending, as our beginning inventory, right? So this is our beginning inventory, 32,000 plus purchases. Now we want to take the net purchases, so we're going to take this minus the returns plus the freight. Right, so we'll take the net 26,000 plus the freight minus the returns minus cost of goods sold, which we calculated earlier, 256. So if we take this, we get to 37,000 as our ending inventory. So our ending inventory, we know is going to be our beginning inventory for 2015. And we know that already. So ending inventory 2014 is the beginning inventory for 2015. So we have that number. Then we'll figure out gross profit, right? Because gross profit is going to be gross profit plus cost of goods sold. So we're given gross profit. We're given the net sales. I mean the gross sales. If we take the gross profit plus the cost of goods sold, we're going to get the net sales, right? Because net sales minus cost of goods sold gives us gross profit. That means we can go the opposite and say add these two together and get the net sales. So we get the gross net sales being 390. So if we know that 410 minus X equals 390, we know that this has to be 20,000. So now we know this number, this number, this number, and we got the beginning inventory. All we got to get now is ending inventory. So to get the ending inventory, we'll adjust this formula here and turn it into this formula here. Now we have 37,000. We know the beginning inventory, that was what we calculated earlier. Net purchases, so we'll take the 298 minus the purchase returns plus the 12,000 freight. Subtract out the cost of goods sold, which we were given, and we end up with our ending inventory of 44,000. It goes right there. So we've finished our puzzle here. It's kind of fun, but could be also frustrating too if you get stuck on any of these.